Check, test. Check, test. One, two. Check, check. Can you hear me?
Check, check. Audio check.
I hear you on Zoom. Can you hear me in the room?
Yes, I can, Michael.
Okay. You fine? Sound fine.
And it sounds good in here.
Okay.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Check, check. Audio, check. Check, check, check.
Check, check, check. Test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check it. Check, check, check. Test, test. Test. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, check. Test, test. Test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. Mic check. 1, 2.
Audio, check. I can hear you, Lang. That's real low.
Okay, I can hear you. Sounds good in here.
Okay.
Right, are we ready to get started?
Madam Chair, we're ready when you are.
All right, thank you. Good morning and welcome to the General Assembly Committee for Tuesday, March 24th. My name is Shayla Adams Stafford and I am the Vice Chair of this committee. Our Chair, Juanita Fisher, was unable to join us today and she has an excused absence, please. So, thank you. So as we approach signing die on April 13th, we enter one of the busiest and most dynamic stretches of the legislative session. This is the point of the year when the pace quickens and we begin to gain a clear sense of which bills are likely to advance and what their impacts may be for Prince George's County. It's a demanding period, but also when this work becomes the most meaningful. And so thank you everyone for your hard work up until this point. So looking ahead, our next General Assembly Committee meeting is scheduled for March 31st, and we'll continue this important work together. Mr. Clerk, may you please call the roll?
Vice Chair Shayla Adams,
Present.
Chair Hunter,
Here.
Councilmember Harrison, 3 members present and roll call.
Thank you so much. Today, we will begin with a budget overview from Roger Mano. Mr. Roger Mano, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you. Members, Roger Mano, attorney at Mano and Associates, presenting just a brief budget snapshot of where we are in terms of the state's FY27 budget. Just to give a little bit of context, the budget every year originates in different chambers. So the governor will introduce the budget and the House and the Senate will alternate between who takes the budget up first. This year, the Senate's up first. The House then amends the Senate version of the budget and final decisions are made in the conference committee. I want to say full stop where we are in terms of this year's budget. Prince George's County receives $2.2 billion in state support under the budget as passed by the Senate. Of that, $87.8 million is an increase year over year, about 4.2%. 1.8 billion is directed towards public schools, about 89%. The county remains one of the largest state aid recipients, which I'll get to very later on in the presentation. Where the money goes, about 1.88 into schools, community colleges, county and municipal aid. This does not include any of the capital budget funding projects, which I'll also get into. Two major issues that we're dealing with and that other local jurisdictions are dealing with. One is the pension shift, which has been highly covered. It's a $39.3 million statewide cost shift. The Senate eliminated about 80% of that cut, but it still amounts to about $5.7 million to Prince George's County. We're working on that as we work through the budget in the House, but that's where things are right now. In terms of the disparity grant cuts that were highly publicized, in the governor's budget, Prince George's County funding was reduced by almost $57 million. That's an $11.4 million year-over-year reduction and a true loss of about $17.5 million below the statutory formula. The good news is the operating budget has passed the Senate. It's passed second reader in the House. Both the House and the Senate restored full funding of that formula, which amounts to about $17.5 million preserved for Prince George's County, for core county revenue streams, and we've stabilized that. In terms of the capital budget, and again, I just want to preface by saying this is preliminary. This is where we are right now. These are projects that we've gotten into the Senate passed capital budget. The House is taking up the capital budget probably later on this week or maybe next week. But of that, we've got about $52 million in projects. That includes major projects and LBIs or legislative bond initiatives. And it's subject to change, obviously, in the House and in conference committee. So the Senate has not yet fully passed it. It's on second reader in the Senate. It's going to the House of Delegates. The House will modify and add projects. And it'll go to conference committee. Among those capital projects, just to give you a broad baseline or categories of funding, about $18 million in healthcare, about $15 million in higher ed and research, $13.1 million in economic development, community and nonprofit, about $2.3 million. Some of the projects that I know that we're all interested in, Doctors Community Medical Center gets $10 million. MedStar gets $8 million. CCI gets $300,000. Quantum Initiative at UMD gets $10 million. Other projects at UMD get $5 million. Silver Hill Development gets $8.5 million. The Film Studio Project gets $4 million. Gateway Development gets $500,000, and smaller projects from there. Again, these are preliminary numbers. We're quite hopeful that the House adds to that. Mr. Cooper and I met with Chair Barnes last week. He seemed cautiously optimistic that we'll be in a better position than we were when we came out of the Senate, which is also quite good. So how the state funding is distributed to the county. State funding is driven by population size and enrollment, local wealth and fiscal capacity, targeted need. Capital funding is influenced by project readiness and institutional assets, alignment with state priorities, effective coordination and advocacy. And large, well-coordinated jurisdictions tend to produce better than those that aren't well coordinated in terms of their advocacy efforts. Prince George's County performance in that framework. We've got a large student population, strong education funding, lower relative wealth, which amounts to higher formulaic support, higher targeted need, which amounts to increased state investment, strong project pipeline, capital agility, which amounts to coordinated advocacy and successful outcomes. Why these results matter: they strengthen the county's fiscal position, they reduce structural deficit pressure, they preserve core services of the county, and they position the county for future growth. So the big takeaway in terms of the statewide positioning for the county, in terms of operating budget support, Prince George's County is number 2 in the state. In terms of capital budget support, Prince George's County is number 3 in terms of support, and that's at the Senate stage. And combined, we're number 2 in the state. Excuse me for a minute. So our strategy, I'd say over the next 2 weeks, is to engage the House appropriators to protect those projects included in the Senate version of the governor's capital budget, to advance additional House funding, and to prepare for conference committee negotiations. All in all, I'd say that we're in a really strong position coming out of the Senate, a strong position in the House. We've logged some major fiscal wins. Our final outcomes aren't determined yet, and we've got a lot of work to do in the next 2 weeks, but I feel really good about where we're going. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mano, for your presentation. Colleagues, were there any questions before we go ahead? Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mano, for your presentation. I wanted to go back to the disparity grant. That seemed to be a real topic of conversation. There was some ambiguity about the finances of that. Are you pretty confident that that has been closed up?
It's not clear. We're hearing different things from different chambers. I feel like we're in a pretty good position, but we really won't know for sure for another week or two.
Sure. Now, when you go through these budget discussions, I know we're just talking about this year's budget, but the outlook of the next 2 years or 3 years, is there any discussions about projections about how that will look moving forward? You talked about Prince George's County got an increase of, I think you said 4.5% from the previous year of total general funds of 1.9 billion, which now we're at 2.1 billion?
We're at 2.2 billion in terms of
2.2.
operating budget
Operating
support.
budget,
Yeah.
Operating budget support. I know at some point we're going to have to make some hard decisions moving forward. And we've been kicking the can down the road for the last couple of years to try to kind of fill in these gaps. But moving forward, I know that the state of Maryland is trying to increase in their GDP growth and business investment in the state of Maryland. But that can't happen fast enough.
Right.
And so just my question is surrounding about not only this year, but looking into the next couple of years. What can you give us a little bit more understanding of that, or if they're even talking about it?
So the state's in it. I mean, I've been doing this for going on 20 years. I mean, the state's in a unprecedented situation in terms of having to reevaluate our relationship with the federal government. Both the Senate president and the speaker have made statements to this effect, and I'm sure all of you have as well. We are in the crosshairs of an administration on the federal side, which can take away everything we have. We're over reliant upon our federal contracts, our proximity to the federal government, our proximity to the national infrastructure and defense and IT assets. So what we're going to have to some kind of way figure out is how we rely and grow businesses locally, so that we're more self-reliant, and maybe regional alliances as well that don't rely so heavily on the federal government. I think it's a wake-up call. I think we'll be stronger when we come out of this. You know, I don't want to paint a dark picture, but we're in year one of a 4-year administration. And it's already, I mean, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
I don't envy the position that you all are in. And Prince George's County is, in terms of impact in the state of Maryland, you're probably front and center. So we'll have to see. I know the state will do everything that they can. But we're doing what we can, or they're doing what they can to close structural budget shortfalls and create new revenue streams. And some of that's controversial, right? There's an overview of, well, I mean, there's some major decisions that state has to make and that the counties have to make and that Prince George's has to make in terms of major economic anchors, whether they be data centers or, you know, biotech or IT.
Innovation technology corridors. That's what
That sounds much better.
Yeah. One last question. I know last year what there was a bill put in and it passed about the highway user fund when it came to EV cars and we weren't collecting on those EV cars. Have we seen the numbers this year? Because I've heard a lot of calls from my buddies that have EV cars, and they're like, man, I had to pay $2,000, you know, fee for the state of Maryland because they own this car. But we were losing money because we weren't getting that gas tax on that. So have you seen any kind of sublimation of how we were able to increase funds in that area?
So highway user revenues are distributed to counties and local governments, and they're based on the gas tax. And with the rise of EVs in the last 5 or 10 years, there's been less gas tax revenue come into the state. And you may recall, if any of you had EVs maybe 5 years ago, you used to get a rebate for those EVs. Now there's a surcharge on buying one to make up for that offset on the gas tax. For years, in fact, when I was in the Senate, I had a bill to restore highway user revenues. This year, every year there's a bill. This year, Senator McCray from Baltimore City has a bill that would be enormously helpful to the county. I don't think it's moving. I don't think that bill's going anywhere. There's no House sponsor to the bill. So there's not great news on highway user revenues right now.
Appreciate it. Well, hopefully these gas prices keep on going up. We might be able to get some sort of relief somewhere.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We're going to move ahead now. Mr. Cooper, you may now proceed with the first bill on today's agenda.
Thank you, Vice Chair Adam Stafford. Our first bill on today's agenda is House Bill 1532, Utility Relief Reducing Energy Load Inflation for Everyday Families Act. Ms. Hessler, you can proceed with an update.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper, and good morning, Madam Chair and members of the council. For the record, Teresa Hessler, Ashler Government Relations, here to present on House Bill 1532, the Utility Relief Act, also known as Reducing Energy Load Inflation for Everyday Families. This is sponsored by the Speaker of the House and a multitude of co-sponsors. This bill originally began as a much smaller bill and has now become a compilation of a variety of different pieces of legislation throughout the House process. It has now become about 128 pages, aimed on three very broad things, which I will get into further. First, it tries to shield ratepayers from major new electric system costs, especially costs associated with large loads such as data centers. Second, it retools several clean energy and utility programs rather than expanding them. It changes the Empower program and greenhouse gas planning timelines. And third, it adds a strong consumer governance and transparency layer. These key provisions include, but are not limited to, and I did craft a very broad document in case anybody wants to go through this in further detail. I'm happy to provide that as well. But to touch on some of these key provisions, large load customers and data centers. The bill redefines what a large load customer is, and it defines it as a commercial or industrial customer with at least 25 milliwatts of aggregate monthly demand and a load factor above 75%. Essentially, it directs investor-owned utilities and cooperatives to file a special rate schedule for these customers by September 1st of 2026. The goal of this is to make sure that regular energy consumers, your constituents, are not picking up the additional energy costs if data centers were to come into the space in the area. So data centers are specifically called out with legislative intent that new data centers locating in Maryland on or after July 1st, 2026 need to maximize in-state hiring and support their load with storage, new carbon-free assets, demand response, engage local communities, and publish a written plan describing exactly how they will do that. It also includes some new framework around these data centers and interconnection agreements. Additionally, another key provision, and certainly an important one, is ratepayer protections. It creates a new customer notice and transparency requirement around utility rate proceedings. A public service company cannot initiate a proceeding that may lead to a rate change unless it notifies customers and points them to the PSC information online. Beginning in 2028, the PSC must publish an annual rate report for each public service company, explaining rate trends in non-technical terms, including a 10-year trend graphic and a breakdown of transmission, distribution, commodity, and bill riders. These are all new notification requirements, and they must be included in customer statements if there's something leading to a rate change, in addition to the annual report and notation on the website. Additionally, as we look into the reports and notifications have to come out anytime that a rate might be changed, and the report is on an annual basis. There are also provisions for low-income energy assistance and program administration. The bill moves the electric Universal Service Program into the Office of Home Energy Programs within the Department of Human Services, and still preserves the PSC oversight on overbill assistance and retirement components to help better support some of our low-income residents that may need help with their electric assistance at or below 200% of the federal poverty level. It preserves some of the program's major components, such as bill assistance, low income, and retirement, as I mentioned, and does hit certain thresholds. It also touches on solar permitting and interconnection reform. It pushes for counties and municipalities to use automated solar permitting software by August 1st, 2027 for residential solar storage, panel upgrades, etc. It also requires certain inspections before requests are completed and authorizes different permitting fees. Additionally, key provisions include transmission policy and regional integration. So in addition to that community engagement component around data centers, it would like transmission lines over 69 kVs in Maryland to participate in a regional transmission organization with cooperatives in surrounding locations and jurisdictions to talk about technologies, alternative routings, demand response, efficiency, etc. Previously mentioned some changes to the Empower program and greenhouse gas planning changes. And one section indicates that any of the information submitted for the next cycle must align with a 2-year program, and that would start in January 2027. And essentially the overall policy direction for that key provision delays some of the more aggressive near-term targets and restructures the timeline to stretch things out and make them more reasonable, and make some tweaks to net metering overhaul, in addition to those solar changes and clean energy. And if I'm assuming will be passed, as it is supported by the Senate President and the Governor, this is considered emergency legislation and would go into effect on June 1st in 2026. With that, happy to answer any questions and dig into the legislation a little more.
Thank you. I have a few questions, and I will also allow my colleagues to ask some questions as well. We've been joined by our chair, Juanita Fisher. MACo has raised some concerns on this. First of all, this Relief Act is needed, right? So many families are dealing with the burden of increased energy costs that really seem to be unbearable. And so I think that this is very timely. I do want to get some clarity on some questions that have been raised by MACo. Number one, some potential risks to our public safety officers who would be relying on remote inspections to capture code compliance and emergency access issues. So that was one concern. Additionally, MACo has noted that the reporting obligations could put a strain on county staff and slow down permitting processes. And so just wanted to see if you had any feedback on those two concerns before I go to my colleague, Councilmember Harrison.
No, thank you so much for those. Certainly don't have anything right now, but it's something I can take back to the body and see what the general consensus is. I would assume that those concerns are shared by many, especially as we're looking at revenue and budgets, and we certainly don't want to put a burden on anyone's financial budgetary needs.
Thank you, Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hessler, for your presentation. And I wanted to dig in a little bit to the proper notification. You talked about the annual notification when it came to price increases, but you also talked about a 10-year plan that they have to submit as well. When it comes to the consumer and the client, I'll just give you a scenario. Every one of us, if we're a day or two late on our cell phone, we get a proper text saying that, hey, you got to pay your bill by this time, right? But the utility companies have all of our information. They got our account number, they got our social security number, they got our cell phone number. And so is there anywhere in the legal description of notification that it speaks upon proper delivery of notification? Whether it's through their bill, whether it's through a text message, whether it's through a press release to the media as well, that clearly outlines what proper notification is.
Thank you so much for that question. It's certainly an important one. So as currently drafted in the legislation, the notice must be delivered via a bill insert. So if you're getting a paper bill or via a separate email, and that notification must include a statement that the company is initiating a proceeding that may lead to a rate change. A notice about the proceeding is or will be available on the website. So it has to include the website information, the date in that notification, and any relevant information according to the report of the past 10 years of trends of rates that they also lay out in the bill regarding notification.
So do they, when they lay that notification out, do they specifically kind of say that you could see a potential increase of your bill by X, Y, and Z, or do they say that the rates are going up and this is your notification, but no one really knows what that is going to be? Well, the consumer does it. They have a better estimate. So do they show the increase of what it potentially could be?
So there's not language to that specifically other than saying that it may lead to a rate increase. That's certainly something that we can flag and bring up to the Senate that we would like tighter language regarding that notification and what the possible rate change could be and what that effect could be.
Yeah.
But right now it's just drafted as a may lead to a rate change within the notification.
I mean, I'm just a council member from Southern Prince George's County, so I'm just going to tell you that I would suggest that it would be an estimate of what their bill was last year previously when the rate increased, and then what they were paying and what potentially from the percentage of what it could be in the coming months, what that rate increase could be, right? So it could increase $107 or $110, or give people a price point range of what that could be so they understand how to plan moving forward. A lot of us saw the rate increases in the winter months, summer months not so. So if we know that we're going to have 6 months or 5 months of rate increases, I think from a budget perspective for how we budget our families, we should know what that potential increase could be, from an annual basis.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move favorable on HB 1532 with a letter of information outlining the concerns delineated around public safety and the concerns around a notice and what's the word? Historic preservation, and the concerns Councilmember Harrison delineated around notice and bill changes to residents. Can I get a second?
Second. Thank you. It's been moved by Councilmember Fisher and seconded by Councilmember Hunter. May I please have a roll call?
Chair Fisher,
Aye.
Vice Chair Adam Stafford,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Councilmember Denoga, Councilmember Harrison.
I vote aye.
Motion carries
Thank you.
5-0.
Thank you so much. And I didn't get a chance to hear from the county executives team on this. I just wanted to get your feedback. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We too are supportive of the bill with amendments and in the areas historic preservation and in their automated solar permitting provision, there was a section in subsection 29 that would apply to the historic area permitting process, and that we really wanted to do an amendment that, seek an amendment that would preserve local historical preservation for the county. So we too share your concerns and sentiments.
Thank you so much. Mr. Cooper, you can proceed with the next state bill on the agenda.
Thank you, Chair Adam Stafford. Our next bill on today's agenda is House Bill 329, Criminal Law School Resource Officers Prohibition on Sexual Activity with Students. Mr. Green, you may proceed.
Thank you, Director Cooper. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the council. Derek Green, for the record, Derek Green on behalf of Green Consultants. As a parent and a former educator, I'm excited to present House Bill 329, a vital expansion of our criminal code, sponsored by delegates Karen Simpson, Chris Fair, Kenneth Kerr, and Emily Shetty. This legislation, cross-filed as SB 81 by Senator Folden, seeks to close a dangerous loophole in our current statutes regarding the conduct of law enforcement officers in our schools. The bill's mandate is precise. It prohibits any law enforcement officer serving as a school resource officer, SRO, from engaging in sexual contact, vaginal intercourse, or sexual acts with a student enrolled at the school where that officer is assigned. By doing so, we are establishing a clear, unbreakable boundary between those sworn to protect our children and the students under their watch. Under current law, officers are already barred from such conduct with victims, witnesses, or suspects in active investigations. Furthermore, our laws already recognize persons in a position of authority, such as teachers, coaches, and counselors, as being subject to stricter standards. HB 329 simply ensures that SROs who occupy an identical position of trust and power are held to that same rigorous standard. This bill has moved through the House with extraordinary momentum. Following its introduction on the 1st of January 2026, just support from everywhere around Annapolis for this bill. We recommend a vote of favorable. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the county executives team like to make any comment?
Yes, we also support.
Thank you so much. I'd like to.
Motion favorable for HB 329.
Thank you. We have a motion favorable by Councilmember Fisher and a seconded by Councilmember Harrison. Please call the roll.
Chair Fisher,
Aye, thank you, colleagues. This was a priority bill for me, so thank you.
Vice Chair Adam Stafford,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Councilmember Denoga,
I vote aye, but I have to ask, how is this even necessary? Hey,
Thank you.
It just spells it out.
Thank
Yeah.
you. We'll ask the committee director to give some background. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'm
Councilmember.
guessing something happened somewhere, but
Correct. I
Yes.
think this happened in another state, and this is like a statewide effort across the country to close this like legal loophole.
so I guess if this might have related to a student who was 18.
Yes.
Because it was under 18.
Yes, it was under,
Yes.
yeah, correct.
Yes.
This was
Yes.
exactly, yeah.
Yes.
I was
All right, that's
Yes.
Councilmember Harrison. Motion carries to support, carries 5-0.
Thank you so much. Now we're moving on to the next bill. Please proceed with the next state bill on the agenda.
Thank you, Chair Adam Stafford. Our next state bill on today's agenda is House Bill 1004, Public Health, Prohibited Ingredients in Food. Ms. Hessler, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Once again, Teresa Hessler, Ashler Government Relations, here to present on House Bill 1004, Public Health, Prohibited Ingredients in Food. Main sponsor is Delegate Tiffany Alston with multiple co-sponsors. This was originally heard in the House Health Committee and moved out of the full House by a vote of 133-0. It is now in the Senate and has a hearing tomorrow, March 25th at 1 p.m. It is a simple bill that essentially prohibits a person from manufacturing, selling, delivering, or holding or offering food for sale that contains any ingredient or additive that is prohibited for use in food under regulations adopted by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration or any other federal law or regulation. Violations within this code are subject to existing criminal and civil penalties, and if passed, the bill would take effect on July 1st, 2027. Essentially, any of the oversight for food processing is currently held by the Maryland Department of Health, and they don't foresee any type of fiscal burden on the state or local departments. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Colleagues, do we have any questions on this? Thank you very much. Go ahead, Councilmember DeNoga.
It looks like the bill got gutted. Is that incorrect? It just looks that way.
So as introduced, the bill listed 4 to 5 ingredients that the goal to prohibit. And it was red dye number 5, a vegetable type oil. And essentially, after much discussion and a lot of different stakeholders, they decided it was easier and better as things on a federal level change just to match federal code and regulations. So that way, anything is added to that list, our state stays in compliance.
But wouldn't that already be the case?
Yes.
So in other words, the bill got gutted. You didn't say that. Okay, just clear. No, and now I see why it's passed unanimously.
Yes.
Yeah, no wonder. Yeah, I vote for it's got to be blue too.
Okay, you're on a roll today, Councilmember DeNoga. We're gonna go to the different executives team.
Every day, you haven't noticed?
Yeah, you're pretty funny.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are in support of the legislation.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll call for a motion.
Motion favorable on HB 1004.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Councilmember Fisher and Councilmember Hunter. Please call the roll.
Chair Fisher,
Aye.
Vice Chair Adam Stafford,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Councilmember DeNoga,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrison. Motion carries 5-0 to support.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper, can you proceed with the next item on our agenda?
Thank you, Chair Adam Stafford. Our next item on today's agenda is the withdrawal letter to Prince George's County Senate and House delegation requesting that the following bills be withdrawn. As required, we must formally withdraw our bills that did not make it over to the other chamber. These bills are as follows: PG 40326, Prince George's County Authority to Retain Fee for Single-Use and Reusable Bags. PG 40626, Prince George's County Termination of Gas and Electric Service to Multifamily Dwelling Units. And PG 30326, Prince George's County Comprehensive Traffic Safety Audit, Maryland Route 202 and 704. And however, we do have a letter to our State Highway Administration on that third bill. But that completes my report on our first letter of correspondence that requests our delegation to withdraw those 3 bills.
Motion to approve chair's signature.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded by Councilmember Fisher and Councilmember Harrison. Please call the roll.
Chair Fisher,
Aye.
Vice Chair Adam Stafford,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Councilmember DeNoga,
Aye.
Councilmember Harrison. Motion carries to support 5-0 to withdraw the letter. Withdraw the bills.
Thank you so much. Now, may I have a motion to accept the additions package?
Motion to accept the additions package.
It's been moved and seconded by Councilmember Fisher and DeNoga. May you please call the roll?
Chair Fisher,
Aye.
Vice Chair Adam Stafford,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter, Councilmember DeNoga, Councilmember Harrison. Motion carries 5-0 to accept the addition package.
Okay, thank you so much. Our next item on today's agenda is a letter requesting SHA to conduct a litter cleanup on Highway 495 in the county. Could you please provide more context, or Chairwoman Fisher, would you like to give us some background,
Sure,
please?
yes. I think you both have letters. Right?
We actually both have
Do
letters.
you want to do yours
I'd like to share mine. Okay.
You want me? I can
Go first, please,
Okay.
so I can just.
So colleagues, I just asked, I asked for a colleague, for this committee on behalf of the council to ask for the state to pay more attention basically to the cleanup efforts on 495. As some of you know, I've been traveling the county a lot more than I usually do, and it's not good. It looks crazy. And I think some of the trash got moved a lot because of the snow. But it has not been cleaned up. So that's just what the letter does, and I would appreciate your support. So motion.
Question.
Oh, cool, never mind.
What? Sure, please, proceed.
The letter that I saw drafted focused on, I think, from 202 to National Harbor. Has that been changed?
I'm open to any change. I want it all cleaned up. Whatever you like.
Yeah, well, frankly, I don't want to just focus on the Capital Beltway. That's important, but the state has not done a good job ever of cleaning up the state roads in this county.
Yes.
And we all get complaints from this. And I always repeat this little story, I'll be quick. Literally the day I got sworn in back in 2002, one of the first things that I heard from was trash on our streets. That complaint has never stopped coming. I mean, just, 20 years of people complaining about trash on the streets. I mean, I like the letter to say something more like, the state needs to step up its game on all the state roads, because people blame, people don't pay attention. Not that they pay attention, they don't know that Route 202 is state. They think in my area, Route 197, they think that's the county. They blame us for the state's lack of attention, and we sometimes send our people out to clean up their roads. So I completely support this. I just question: do we just want to focus on the Beltway?
No, I'm totally. I know Councilmember Harrison has a question, and Chair will call on him.
23, right?
I am totally open to editing the letter to include that, and I think I'm really happy our committee meets year round. I wanted SHA to come in, after the session to present us on state roads, because it is just, I know that TIEE, Mr. Chair, you have them come in as well, but I think that would be good. So I'm happy to make the edit to the letter.
I'll
just call
Madam
him Mr.
Chair.
Shella. Yes, Mr.
I was
Harrison.
just going to say,
Councilmember.
every numbered route and state road in the county must be addressed. Period.
Okay.
Out of the 499 square miles. Now, I don't know how many number routes we have in the county. We could figure that out.
SHA must know.
Yeah, they know. So every numbered route and state road in the county must be addressed.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think I would say
Well,
it's reached
my
a critical level. I'm
excuse me,
sorry.
1 second. Does the state, is there like a tracking system or some type of auditing system in which counties can see? Okay, is that
There is and along with this letter, I actually was going to put in a formal request. There is a formal request hotline where you can literally fill out a form where you can fill any kind of state road request if there's debris or if anything you want state highway to come pick up or fill in a pothole or do all those things. So with that, when the Chair Fisher kind of requested me to write a letter, I said, hey, between these two portions of 495, that's what my kind of form address was. That portion of the 495 was going to accompany this as well. The letter is along with the kind of formal process that they use to track this data.
But I guess my question is there any public facing software that allows people to see in real time, which roads have been recently cleaned?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I would have to double check that, but I can follow up.
I don't think so, Madam Chair, Co-Chair. I know Senator Nick Charles was working on a legislation like that. I don't know where he ended up with that. That was like 2 years ago. But I do think that's something. So if I could just make an oral motion to edit the letter, if it could just say, on behalf of the Prince George's Council, we are writing to request your urgent attention to, and then you could put the specific later, but maybe to all state roads and throughways throughout Prince George's County, period. And then, yeah, I just wanted 495 because I'm on 495 every day and it looks crazy. But yes,
Okay.
so I think that would be a great edit to it. And I think we should follow up and have SHA come in.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Hunter. Please call the roll.
Chair Fisher,
Aye.
Vice Chair Adam Stafford,
And I would like to just say thank you so much for your action on this, because this is a real issue that so many residents reach out about. Thank you.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye. Excuse me. Aye. And I also want to thank Chair Wanika for this. This is very important. And the county state roads really need, reflect us. And my constituents are very concerned, and the bulk of my calls that are coming in. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Councilmember Denoga.
I vote aye, and I think Ms. Fisher should make notes as she travels around the county because she's seeing more of it than we are.
I know, I'm starting to do that.
Motion carries to support 4-0
Madam Chair.
for the
can I-
letter concerning
can I have a
the.
point of privilege for a second? Mr. Jackson, I was wondering if you could just take this note back to the county executives team. I would love like an interactive map or graphic to show the residents like the roads in the county for us are purple and states in red, you know, that we could present and have DPWT work on that. So that way, you know, when we have a county roadmap and, or go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Okay, if I don't know if that exists, but something like that would be cool. If she could maybe have her Elevate team work on that. Just so that when we're out and about, there's like an image that really starts showing that.
Absolutely. I'll take that back to our team.
Actually, I think Park and Planning would probably have the mapping tools to better do that. Yeah, they, you know, like for example, PG Atlas has like 1,000 layers, and transportation is one of the layers. It's different things in transportation, but I think Park and Planning has the tools and the skill. I don't think DPWT has the personnel, but in conjunction. So just make that note.
Yeah, could you talk to Park and Planning with that?
Sure thing.
You. And so I'd like to just share the letter that I'm putting forward as well and asking for some support on as well. So I'm asking the State Highway Administration to conduct a traffic study, a comprehensive traffic study on routes 202 and 704 in Prince George's County, Maryland. So this is an area within District 5 where we're consistently seeing fatal accidents. For example, in July 2025, there was a 7-vehicle crash that killed 2 people. And then just the next week, there was a deadly crash on Route 704. And so I think that we need to highlight the urgency for the state and evaluate some roadway safety and some potential solutions to prevent further tragedies. And so
Motion to approve chair signature?
Second, this is a great idea
Thank
and
you.
letter, Madam Chair.
Yes,
The only
thank you.
thing I would add, if you
Please,
could,
yeah.
if you would be open to adding a sentence maybe at the end
Mhm.
and saying Prince George's County is #1 in
Pedestrian
roadway
deaths.
deaths, and we request your urgent attention. Just to reiterate that we are #1 in pedestrian fatality, and we request your urgent attention for this study. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, I'm open to that, and we will add that in. So it was moved and seconded, so we can please call the roll.
Chair Fisher,
Aye.
Vice Chair Adam Stafford,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Councilmember Denoga.
Aye.
Motion carries to support, carries 4-0.
Okay, thank you. County Executive Team, did you have anything to add with that letter? I'm sorry.
Not at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's all for today. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, it's moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to chair today.
Good job, Vice Chair. You did so good. It was really good. I'm not gonna be
I
here
was
at all.
voluntold. I was voluntold. They said, get up here, Shayla. It's your turn.